Thank you so much for joining us today on KZSU Stanford 90.1 FM. You're listening to Modern Tech News. I am Labiba, and today we have a very special program with our guest, Mayor Harry Kim, the Honorable Mayor of the County of Hawaii. Today's program is special because we are trying to introduce Mayor Kim's idea to designate Mauna Kea as a World Heritage Center that will encourage people to learn about Mauna Kea's history and its unique place in the world. Mauna Kea, or White Mountain, is the tallest mountain in the world from the ocean floor. Because of its high altitude, thin and clean air, and its isolation from urban development, the summit of Mauna Kea is an ideal place for astronomical research. Some of the world's most powerful telescopes and observatories, including the twin Keck telescopes, are on Mauna Kea. Because Mauna Kea is sacred to the people of Hawaii, the International Lunar Observatory Association and KZSU are helping bring Mayor Kim's vision of a Mauna Kea World Heritage Park to many people in Silicon Valley who travel to Hawaii and who might like to learn more about Mauna Kea and help in promoting the vision of the Mauna Kea World Park, which would preserve the culture and history of the island people and disseminate information about research in astronomy to people around the world. To get this interview on KZSU, we asked for help from Mr. Steve Durst, a Stanford alum who has been working on Mauna Kea for more than 30 years and who founded the International Lunar Observatory Association in Hawaii, and invited Mayor Harry Kim to speak about the Mauna Kea World Park at a Galaxy Forum in Hawaii in early 2017. We are very grateful for Mr. Steve Durst's help, and we are very honored and privileged to have the Honorable Harry Kim, Mayor of the County of Hawaii, as our guest today. We hope you enjoyed today's show, and now we have an introduction to Mayor Harry Kim by Steve Durst.
Today I have the privilege to introduce the Honorable Harry Kim, Mayor of the County of Hawaii, to KZSU Stanford, and to introduce his vision for creating the Mauna Kea World Park in Hawaii. I'm Steve Durst, a Stanford alum and founder of the International Lunar Observatory Association and other organizations, and have been exploring Mauna Kea for over 30 years. ILOA supports Mayor Kim's vision, and I am delighted to introduce Mayor Kim and the Mauna Kea World Park on KZSU. Mayor Kim served Hawaii for over 3 decades as Civil Defense Administrator from 1976 to 2000, then as mayor from 2000 to 2008 when he retired, and he was re-elected as mayor for a 3rd term in 2016. We arranged for this interview to help introduce Mayor Harry Kim's vision of Hawaii's Mauna Kea World Park to the world, starting with enlightened Silicon Valley, California residents, the Stanford community, and Stanford graduates around the world.
To start today's interview with Mayor Harry Kim about his vision for a Mauna Kea World Park, we asked him to tell us about his vision, and we also asked how we might be able to help achieve that vision.
This is something I've felt for years. It's not because of the so-called conflict of Mauna Kea. This is my home from birth over 70 years ago, except for military and college. I've always been here because this is my home and I love it. And so this is what I felt of Mauna Kea for a long, long time. And I showed people a picture of Mauna Kea on the slopes of Mauna Kea that I've seen for decades. It was surprising to me because so many people that live here all their lives never saw it. And what it is when I first saw it, I told myself, boy, that is the heart of the mountain, which is the heart of the people. And what it was a huge natural symbol outline of a heart. And that's how far back I go on Mauna Kea. First made a public statement on Mauna Kea was back in 1981 when the university was looking into really expanding the use of Mauna Kea. And I told them this, and it's written down here and there, and hearing with the university when they inquired about Mauna Kea because of my civil defense responsibilities. I asked permission to relay personal, and I said that the people of science look at Mauna Kea as truly a beautiful, pristine, perfect place for your side. And because of its altitude, climate, man-made lights, etc., etc. I say, but please be aware that there are people that look at Mauna Kea not as a place of science, but a part of their soul. And please be aware that if you are going to trespass on a person's soul, please do it with caution, please do it with care, and above all, please do it with compassion. And again, that was first stated in 81. And again, that's a long introduction to the following. This is the first time I ever wrote anything on Mauna Kea, but it stated, I believe that Mauna Kea can be a place of pursuit of knowledge to make us a better people and better stewards of this land. I believe that it can be an international symbol of nations together for the pursuit of peace. Mauna Kea can be and should be a monument for the world for peace on earth, a home of the cosmopolitan people, people that belong to the world, a hope for this world. I believe that Mauna Kea can be an acknowledgement for the people of Hawaii and their contributions to the science of astronomy. Mauna Kea to be the living museum of the people of the First Nation of Hawaii. I believe that Mauna Kea is an opportunity for Hawaii to be the center of discovery of mankind and of the universe. I believe that Mauna Kea can be and should be all of this. When I first stated that, naturally there was no real specific concept behind it, except I started to use a word when they said, how do you accomplish this? I said that the whole mountain be dedicated to this purpose, that the whole mountain, be a living monument, that it be a park dedicated for this, that every single thing that happens on that mountain in development must follow this theme. And when they ask questions, well, how do you accomplish this? I said, well, I'm not the smart person to do that kind of thinking because it's not a project for me yet. It's a dream, a vision of what you hope for, especially today in this world of turmoil. And in regards to that, I said, to accomplish this, there must be a recognition that there be a governing body, highly select people to develop the bylaws of this mountain, very carefully selected people that will do all of the bylaws. And to make this work, I truly believe that governing body should be an independent body selected to be free of government intervention.
What opportunities do you think Mauna Kea World Park would bring to the people of Hawaii? And how would this park change the perception of the people around the world about Hawaii?
First of all, this is all personal, perception of Hawaii. I've always felt, because again, this is my birthplace, that I'll pick on one word that you may not be familiar with that I stated in with my vision of the word cosmopolitan. If you're not familiar with it, if you go back to our time of past, before we became a state, if you go, I'll pick something very specific on beauty contests with Manoa campus used to have, they call it Kapalapala. And for those listening, they know what I'm talking about, and all you have to go is find an old annual of Manoa campus, and you would find a beauty contest, and they would have Miss Filipina, and Miss Hawaiian, and different ethnic groups here, and then you would have Miss Cosmopolitan. But to qualify to be in a category, you had to be of mixed race. And I thought, because we were so isolated in communication, obviously not like today, not near like today. I was born without a telephone, naturally no electricity, no running water and those things, which is very normal for a lot of people. And born in the house with no doctors and those kinds of things, all normal ways of being a plantation immigrant. But, growing up in school, cosmopolitan was an everyday word. And you can imagine, I thought the world was like us. And what it means, literally means people that belong to the world. To qualify for that, you had to be of mixed heritage. You take like my one and only granddaughter I have today. I'm very proud of her, naturally, like all grandpas. She is of Scotch, Irish, English, Korean, which I am, a Portuguese, Filipino, and Hawaiian. And guess what? She goes to Kamehameha School here on the island of Hawaii. She's a true cosmopolitan. I remember when President Obama was sure to be elected, and I had to make a talk to the audience. It's a tradition thing on the island of Hawaii. They gather before the day of the general election. Senator Inouye was there and all the congressional people there in the public, and I said, I want the world tomorrow to ask, what's a hapahali? Because his children are cosmopolitan, and he is cosmopolitan because he's half white. I was really proud of that word of the people of Hawaii. I know we've changed some, but we still have that a little bit with the old-timers, and it's part of our culture without using that word. And I ask of you, sincerely I ask of you and your listeners, how proud do you think we would be if Hawaii was known as a cosmopolitan people, meaning people that belong to the world? Not of religion differences, not of color differences, or any differences that we are so ignorant to judge people by, but people that truly are cosmopolitan, belonging to the world. I am still extremely proud of that, but I am extremely saddened that because of change, that is no longer part of our everyday vocabulary. This mountain can symbolize what was. And let me add this or that because it's so important. The reason Hawaii became a place of that was several reasons, but the main reason was one, plantation immigrants from all over the world to be here, including not of labor, but of management, the Caucasian group and the owners of that on this island and different islands. We had to develop a language called Pidgin to communicate with each other. But the reason we became a cosmopolitan people, not a melting pot, but a cosmopolitan people, meaning respect of each other, giving love of each other. I think Hawaii, without knowing absolute, but pretty sure, that we're the most mixed marriage people of ethnic group because of that. And the reason it became that instead of segmented away from each other is because of generosity, the kindness, and the warmth of the Hawaiian culture and people. I've said this for decades. I've said it in different countries and different continents. I believe the Hawaiian people, by nature, are the warmest, kindest people on God's earth. Regardless even of the way they were being treated, of taking away their heritage, their lands, they still treated all immigrants that came here with warmth and kindness. I know that, and so do all immigrants here. And so we blended with each other. There was no hate between them and us. It was survival of dependency on each other.
And do you believe that the Mauna Kea World Park will help bring Hawaii's cosmopolitan vision to the world?
Absolutely, because that will be one of the visions of this mountain, not of just science. You know, it is science to make us a better people, better stewards of this land, to learn from mistakes of past. It is of the cosmopolitan people to show the world of the wrongs that we have done to indigenous people, which I hate that term. It almost sounds derogatory, and I know it was not meant to be. That's why the Hawaiians are people of the First Nation of this island. And yes, all that should be up there in different ways, of monuments, of museums. There is a thinking group to see how do we do this, so we all learn to become better people and better stewards of this land. It will be of science, it will be of culture, it will be of everything.
How do you plan to move forward with the Mauna Kea World Park if the 30-meter telescope does not continue to be in Hawaii?
First of all, on a 30-meter scope, I hate to say it, but that's the way we are. It took this extreme controversy to show how we were not good stewards of that land, of Mauna Kea. Mauna Kea is in a special place in regards to many, many people of heritage. It is the Pico for them. There is a strong heritage in regards to what Mauna Kea stood for. In my eyes, very blends very nicely in regards to Hawaiians and of science today in a quest of knowledge. And I believe it can be a very, very nice marriage. Yes, I know the issue is